No, Andre's the man. I want you guys to know that Andre, he took the time to come out of here, and Andre's super high level, guys. He hangs out with a lot of celebrities. You were just at the Logan Paul fight, right? Drinking that Prime. I saw that.
Jake Paul. Support my man, Jake Paul. And Jake Paul went out there and shot. He was support Jake, and he's doing this thing.
Absolutely, man. Well, Andre, the purpose, I wanted to have you follow up, man, because for you to have high levels of success in your boxing career, you had to be focused and you had to find a way to provide for yourself, your family, right? Because that's a big struggle with boxers, right? You don't really get paid a lot unless you're a champion. So walk me through a little bit about that with the mentality, your day-to-day, and how did you manage when you were first getting started because you weren't getting paid a lot?
Yeah, sure. I mean, of course, with anything, you have to find that purpose. Like you said, sounds good.
Yeah.
You have to find your purpose. Like you said, and me myself, I started early. I started at 7 years old. Getting into the boxing game. My dad, he was a fighter as well. But me looking at understanding our circumstances, growing up. My parents, they were immigrants from Haiti as well, so I got a chance to really see and just go through this struggle. And I really took everything in. But for some reason, just coming from a small town and getting into the fight game at a very young age, I just knew for some reason I had what it took to just take it to a completely different level.
Sure.
And just every day, just me waking up and seeing our circumstances go through situations that we motivated each and every day. Me coming home and like our lights were shut off or our water was shut off in the house. And just seeing my parents, having to struggle to make sure to pay bills. I kind of made up in my mind at a very young age that I'm going to be the one to change the circumstances for a family.
Absolutely. Let's get a round of applause for that. That's awesome. So you're boxing, man. It's just like every other professional sport, right? There's a lot of people that get into the sport and they don't become champions, right? And boxing is one of those sports too that if you lose one fight, you're kind of, your career tanks, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say is the differentiator between someone who's, when you were kind of first starting off, maybe, as you're moving up in the ranks, what did you see common trends and patterns between the competition as you continue to ascend and got to the highest level, right? The fight Mayweather as well.
Yeah, for me, I just knew that everybody I stepped into the ring with, at an early age. I know I grew up different. I ate different foods. I knew that just my culture was different, how I grew up. I just really didn't have to go through the things I had to go through to survive, to a sense. You know what I'm saying? So I went in with that mentality every time I walked into the ring because I knew that a lot of these kids probably, had a lot better, than I had growing up. So I knew that they didn't have what it took to have the animal mentality like I had.
That instinct.
I wanted to show them that I was different. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I had to make that up in my mind at a very early age that whoever stood in front of me, I was going to dominate. And I think that's for everybody. If it's in business, if it's in sports, if it's, just whatever the case may be. You have to stand in front of your opponent and just know that you're going to dominate. By any means. I don't care how hard he's trying. I don't care where he's from. I don't care how much he's studied or what type of team he has. He's going to get in here with a completely different type of animal. And I got to show him. If he doesn't know it, I have to show him. And I'm just going to come out, on the other side of the situation victorious.
Absolutely, man. And then that mindset, you kept saying it a couple times there, that you knew at an early age what you wanted to do, right? So some people in the audience, they're struggling to find out what that one thing that they want to focus on and go all out in it, right? Because they're still indecisive because you made that decision. So what would you tell those people who are struggling to find that thing and set a goal and to become the very best at it?
Let me see. I think.
Because a lot of people are struggling with that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people struggling trying to find that thing. I think we really have to sit back and really understand, try to find out exactly what they want to do.
So how'd you do that?
The great thing about it is I did some of everything growing up. I played football, I got into boxing, I ran track. I was very, like I was a real physical young man. Twisted had a lot of different energies. But for some reason, when it came to boxing, actually, my dad, when he first took me the first time, I was always a little strong kid. And I got in trouble from time to time, but when he took me to the boxing gym, he threw me really with a fat, chubby kid, but he's been boxing for a while. And they threw me in the ring with him just to see what I had. And in my mind, I was thinking, this kid is fat, and just like he's slow. I'm gonna beat crap out of this kid, and that shit didn't go well. I thought it was gonna go well. And he just beat the hell out of me. But the thing was, I didn't understand, how it happened. And just the process of how it happened, he just had a lot better skills than I had. And he pretty much just finessed me and just made it look easy. I came in there reckless. I came in there throwing a lot of shots and trying to throw a lot of power, and he just used everything that I was doing against me just to make it look easy. And he just beat the hell out of me that day. And ever since then, I said, okay, I gotta figure this shit out. I gotta figure it out. I don't know how it happened, but it was kind of beautiful how it happened. And I didn't figure the situation. I know there's a lot more, to this game than what I expected. So for that one, I tried to, try to go on my journey and really try to figure it out.
Absolutely, man. No, that's awesome. So for you in the boxing ring, right? Boxing, you do an uppercut, jabs. There's you just punch, right? But one punch from one boxer is different from someone that's just starting off. So you have that level of focus and discipline. I feel like a lot of things out there right now can distract us, that take us off track of what we're supposed to be doing, what we're called to do. So how did you stay focused and disciplined? Were there times where you didn't want to work out? How did you stay focused and disciplined even through losses and even through, because it took years to get to the level that it wasn't just like a couple of years and you're at that championship level.
I mean, like I said, I was just determined. I just made up my mind on what it was going to be. It was going to be that it has to work or it has to work type of mentality, for me coming up. And I felt like I was the only resort for my family to be able to change their circumstance. I knew I had the motivation, I knew I had confidence, I knew I had the mentality to dominate in whatever I wanted to do. And I had the work ethic to make it happen. So, I really had to learn a lot of things. I of course just be myself, getting into the fight game and just reaching the top level. At a very early age, I was ranked number one in the country at 15. But I missed out on a lot. I didn't go to proms, I didn't go to, homecoming, I missed a lot of the parties and all this and all that. But I was just so focused on the bigger goal. I just knew that, everybody else was going to understand it. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when I become a world champion, or once I go to the Olympic Games. So I think it's the fact that people really need to stay focused on their goals, even though it may take a little bit of time, and you guys may miss out on certain things, but the bigger purpose at the end of the day, is the main thing for you.
Absolutely, man. So you worked your whole career to become champion, right? So now that you won the first welterweight world champion, right? How did things change from there? Did you become even more hungry to even work harder? Was it like, I achieved it and I'm gonna lay off? So how did things change after you became the champion?
The crazy thing about it, man, it's like a lot of these things happened for me. And I ended up going to the 2004 Olympic Games. Turned professional, of course, winning, multiple world titles. But, for everybody else, it was really, surprising. It was like something that everybody celebrated. But for me, it felt like things that were supposed to happen for me. And these are situations that I wrote down on my notepads. I have a stack. I literally have a stack of notepads in my mom's old house. I used to write all of these goals down, from when I was in high school. So these are situations that I feel like I just checked off my list because I put the work in and I had a vision set, and it was just for me to go out there and just execute. You know what I mean? And a good friend of mine told me a while ago, to stay prepared because when you execute the season, it can be your life forever. So that always played into my head as well. So I knew if I continued staying on that right track, I was going to go ahead and get all this stuff done. So, of course, winning world titles, of course, life changes. Shit just went kind of crazy, for me, for a long time. But like I said, I felt that everything was for me because I know I put in the work. I know there's a lot of things that I prayed for. Even though when I was scared or I was nervous about certain things, but I knew that everything that I prayed for was on the other side of that giant that was in front of me. I think a lot of people, they deal with a lot of situations where they want to accomplish this or they want to achieve this, but they have an obstacle, they have, what I say, a giant in front of them. But they need to realize and understand that everything that you're praying for is on the other side of that giant. So if you think in that type of way, it's nothing that this giant standing in front of me is going to do to me that I will do anything possible to get through this guy. You know what I mean? If it's something in front of you that you feel like, you feel some type of way about, you just need to set your intentions a completely different type of way. Just know that everything that you've been praying for, everything you've been working hard for is on the other side of that. So he's going to have to kill me. He's going to have to kill me, but I gotta get through it and get it done.
Amen, man. Yeah, so you mentioned that too, like when you had success, the things that you were doing in private got rewarded publicly. So, right, it was validation. You already saw it was coming. And then all these people came into your life, cousins, friends, they said what's up to you. So how'd you deal with that, man? Because that's the emotional and psychological side of it. Because the training at a level of being a champion is one thing, but then the psychological, the emotional intelligence side of communicating with your family, friends, people that you didn't even know you had, friends and family.
Facts. Like everything goes with it. Of course, a lot of people pray for certain things and they want to be successful, they want to achieve this, they want to achieve that. But you understand, much is given, much is required as well. So a lot of things that you pray for sometimes you understand that a lot of BS is going to come with it as well. You understand? So you have to be prepared not just for the success, you need to always be prepared for all the distractions and all of, a lot of the devil's work is going to come into play as well too. So you just got to stay focused now all the way through. While you get to that point, even more focused when you reach that top level. You have to.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Amen to that, dude. Let's give him a round of applause for that. Come on. The Mayweather fight, I watched it. He kept taunting you after every second. He was taunting you. He was taunting to your girlfriend or your wife at the time. Like, so walk us through that experience, man. When the haters, right? The people that come in, and it's not just like I'm going to beat you, but I'm going to, I want to embarrass you. Like, what was going through your mind?
Well, like, I'm known for it. I'm married since I was 16 years old. To be honest. So we've always had a relationship where we talk crap at each other.
Right.
So once the fight finally happened, we definitely wanted to try to take everything to a whole other level.
Right.
But I think, when it comes to big shows like that people don't realize, when I was getting ready for that fight, I already knew who he was as a fighter. I already knew all of his, his techniques and a lot of things he did. But 90% of my training was to get ready, just mentally for the circus that he brings with him to these fights.
Sure.
I've seen so many top fighters and top guys that will go into these fights and mentally, then he will take them out of the game. I've seen so many guys talk so crazy and so big before a fight, just talk all big and tough. But by the time they get in the dressing room and they hear that 20, 30,000 people out there cheering and going crazy, and they're seeing other fighters, that's fighting before them come back all bruised up and beat up, and I've seen guys pack their bags up in the back dressing room and they just got too real for them. And see what I'm saying? So, some fighting game, of course, I believe is 90% mental, 10%, physical for sure. But I got tons of stories, tons.
Right, bro.
Tons of great stories.
So I was watching an interview with Jake Paul, and he said that when he gets into the ring, he becomes a problem child. He gets in this mentality, right? And when you go into the ring, your goal is what's the mentality going into the ring when you're in that ring? And then, did you struggle with turning off that mentality with your wife and your family, or because every time I meet you, you're such a calm. I'm like, dude, this guy, he's so nice, and but you destroy people in the ring, man. So walk us through that mentality in the ring, and then being able to turn it on and off. Did you struggle with that at all? Because I know some people, they do struggle with.
Yeah, time to time. To get in a place where, when you're ready to go in there and, pretty much enrich your life, to either feed your family or get destroyed in front of the world, just so this person can be theirs. So, this us just having to go through like an 8 to 10 week, training camp to prepare, to separate ourselves from our families and our friends, and really go through 3-4 times a day, trainings, not eating what we want to eat, not having sex for, 8, 9 weeks. It turned into somebody crazy after a while. And so, we got to put ourselves in that position. So when it's time to go, when it's fight time, when it's time to go to war, you're more than ready to go to war. And you have to, just me myself, I used to take it out of my opponents. And just knowing that, okay, and I just went through all this punishment because of you. And now, me walking out to this ring, I've seen plenty of guys, lose the fight before they actually walk into the ring because, of the atmosphere, because of the fans, because of the lights, cameras, and it's very intimidating. I see guys lose before they get in the ring. But you have another side of things. You have other guys that we really drive for. And we walk out there in that arena and we feel like everybody came just to see us, to go in there and destroy somebody. And with all that training and all the punishment that I went through, after those 8 to 10 weeks, now I get to showcase it in front of the world, but that person has to be the receiving end of it. You know what I'm saying? So I love it. I say there's nothing like that feeling to be able to go in there and just put in that work for like 8 to 10 weeks and go in that ring and just perform and just show the world that you're the best. You know what I mean? It's a good type of feeling. So like I said, I carry that in my business as well. So now it's like the game has changed to a sense, but the mindset still stays the same. When it comes to my employees, when it comes to people that work for me, when it comes to me, I look at business now like a sport. And the same, so I take the same approach.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, so with the business side of it, right? You're hanging out with celebrities, right? 50 Cent, all these guys. It's normal for you, right? It's normal. So what do you do to continue to expand your network and kind of expand your circles? And, what are you doing to take your business, your life to the next level? What are you focusing on now, and what does that look like?
When I tell a lot of athletes, they need to understand that, once you're at your top level of your sport or your top level of your performance, and everybody's looking at you, all these people want to be your friends. And 9 times out of 10, it's a lot of, great, But one thing with them, they have to be able to kind of leverage those relationships. You know what I mean? They get caught up sometimes too much in being a star and just being, you know, who they are, you know, as a fighter, as a football player, whatever the case may be, and they treat everybody like fans instead of, you know, just trying to take them in and understand, trying to see what they do, see how they try to, try to, collaborate to a sense until it's over. Until the career is going on, because it's going to do it. You're going to get as high as you want to get, but you're going to eventually drop. That's just what it is. And a lot of guys, I believe they wait too long to try to tap into those relationships once their career kind of develops a little bit. And they try to reach back out, and they try to get back out in the public and try to reach out to these people. But they're already, like I said, they're on to the next. So it's always great to nurture those relationships while you have them. I think that's been like a really great thing that I've been doing the last 18 years. So when people, they see me with all these people, the 50 Cents, the Jay-Z's, the Diddy's, I've known these guys since I've been, 23 years old. But I got a chance to continue to nurture those relationships, when my career is at a peak. And like I said, I'm still in the space with a lot of really good tools now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And so, also, right now, you just launched a fitness challenge, is that right? So, you guys see the results in the background. You still stay in shape, man. So, walk us through kind of what you're currently working on. And if someone wants to get plugged in with you, what does that look like? And it sounds like people are getting in shape when they work with you.
I have a lot of things going on right now.
Well, what would you say is the most exciting thing?
I think probably just the production side of things that I'm doing. I might just sold like 2 shows on HBO, working with some situations right now with Showtime as well. That right there is a sizzle that I just finished. That hopefully was in the Showtime here, so I'll let you guys see it first. That's going to be a dope show. Of course, I'm a huge portfolio of real estate. A lot of different things going on. I think this right here is probably that next passion, to be able to create a lot of dope content and just build a lot of these different shows.
Absolutely, man. Well, guys, let's give Andre a round of applause here.